massive fan, bro. I know I'm a massive fan, bro. I'm a big United fan. I know I'm not getting him in no trouble.
Footage has now emerged of Marcus Rashford being in a club in Belfast the night before Manchester United's training session at Carrington, ahead of our game against Newport. Erik ten Hag said that Rashford is missing with illness, but it's now been confirmed by The Athletic that Rashford was indeed in a club the night before training. There was speculation that it might have been on Wednesday, and I want to sort of bring you the full reaction, explain the whole story here, because this is just now going to be another test of Erik ten Hag's resolve as manager and his attempts to bring discipline to a massively ill-disciplined Manchester United team. We've had so many before, and now we've got another one. Let me explain to you why Marcus Rashford was in Belfast in the first place. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, by the way. All right? Roshan Williams just joined Len, which is just north of Belfast. Now, Roshan Williams and Marcus Rashford were in the youth team together at Manchester United. All right? I think Roshan Williams is 25. I think Rashford's 26. They're friends. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with Marcus Rashford going out to Belfast. I believe that was after training on Wednesday. Manchester United players had Thursday off. Scheduled day off. He went and he visited Len, met the squad, met the players. But The Athletic have now confirmed this, okay? Manchester United, Marcus Rashford went out in Belfast the night before, reporting himself as too ill to attend Manchester United training on Friday. United were informed that Rashford was out in the Northern Ireland capital on Wednesday, but The Athletic has seen confirmation that the player also attended a nightclub the following evening, hours before being scheduled to report for a club training session. Now, when all these videos and pictures emerged, I didn't want to react because I wanted to see the whole story develop, and the whole story is now developing because this picture emerged suggesting that Marcus Rashford was in Lavery's, a pub in Belfast, on Wednesday, and that footage which I just showed you here was supposedly footage of Marcus Rashford in Thompson's, a nightclub, on Thursday, and The Athletic have now confirmed that was the case. And I don't get what Marcus Rashford is doing. Look, Erik ten Hag, speaking ahead of the game against Newport, said, "This morning Rashford was ill." Because that's what Erik ten Hag was told. I don't think this is Erik ten Hag lying to cover a play. I think this is Erik ten Hag relaying the information that he's been given. Oh, Marcus. He has given Erik ten Hag absolutely no choice here but to discipline him. Because it's required. And I mean, I know, right? I know that Erik ten Hag has got stuff wrong this season. He's got so much wrong. But this squad is littered with the wrong mindset, with the mindset which just will not take Manchester United back to the top. And you know what? It's got nothing. It's sod Erik ten Hag. You've got Ratcliffe and Brailsford, who are literally getting rid of head physios, have got rid of a CEO, are about to get rid of John Murtough, and so many other staff at the club because, you know, it's not really part of this new direction we are taking the club. We want to install an elite performance mentality back into Manchester United. And this Marcus Rashford thing, in isolation, is a problem. When you take into context what happened earlier this season, it becomes even more of a problem. Marcus Rashford going out, I think it was in China White in Manchester, on the night after Manchester United lost the derby. I think it was his birthday. And again, I mean, there was nothing... I thought people were going a bit overboard when looking at that in isolation. And this is what Erik ten Hag said about that at the time. He said, "I'm aware of it. I spoke with him about it. It's unacceptable. I told him, he apologised, and that's it. It's an internal matter." Erik ten Hag, standing up for his player, said this down below after as well. "Your suggestion is not right. He is very motivated to put things right. I know how much effort he's putting in. He makes a mistake, but that doesn't mean he's not fitting in. He makes one mistake, but also off the pitch, what he's doing, how he lives. I'm sure he is doing everything right to help the team." Erik ten Hag standing up for his player there. And Marcus Rashford has gone and done that. I didn't want to comment on this when all the WhatsApps come out and then the videos come out and you go, well, you can't really contextualize anything. Now that the Athletic have confirmed that they have seen confirmation that he was in the night in Belfast, in Thompson's, the night before Manchester United training, and then reported ill after flying back into Manchester on a private jet on Friday morning. Rashford, man, what are you doing? He's giving Eric Ten Hag no choice. And this is at a time when we've got Rashford. Rashford is... Højlund's our only striker. I don't think Rashford's a striker, but Højlund is our only striker fit and available. And Rashford's doing that. Remember when Eric Ten Hag disciplined Rashford, who at that point in time, if I remember correctly, was basically the informed player in Europe. This time last year, Marcus Rashford was absolutely unstoppable. Dropped for that game against Wolves, despite being the informed player, but came off the bench and scored the winner. It was a real show of consistency with Eric Ten Hag's decisions when it comes to power in the squad and sort of maintaining discipline. But Eric Ten Hag, throughout his tenure at Manchester United, has faced so many different situations like this. The Ronaldo situation, in my opinion, Eric Ten Hag, I think he handled it correctly. And the fact that Ronaldo did that interview with Piers Morgan, I think confirmed and justified Ten Hag's decisions. Eric Ten Hag early this season, with Jadon Sancho, it was not pretty. But I personally stood by Eric Ten Hag's decision because he gave him 3 months off before, and Sancho's response was not the response that Eric Ten Hag wanted. But you know what? I mean, everybody's sort of been saying it all season, that Marcus Rashford's body language, just the way he just carries himself. Last season, it was like shoulders back, looked strong, physically looked strong. And that's how he carried himself on the pitch. But it feels like Rashford's been affected by the Sancho fallout with Eric Ten Hag. Because they're close friends. Of course, if your close friend falls out with the manager, even in a normal working environment, that's going to have some sort of impact. And I think it has on Rashford. And to see him doing that, Marcus, mate, I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't think that can be justified. And I don't think that can now sort of pass without Eric Ten Hag, I would say, disciplining Rashford. I imagine, well, he was missing from training, so he wasn't going to be involved against Newport anyway. But given what Eric Ten Hag has done with Ronaldo and Sancho, and how he's maintained that consistency with his discipline in the squad for both of those, I just don't see how Marcus Rashford isn't sort of... I don't know for how long. What do you think is going to be the reaction? And what do you think is the right thing to do here? Rashford's given him no choice. I can't make this. Ratcliffe and Brailsford are trying to... They will not accept that. And I've said it to James on the Ripple Effect a couple of weeks ago. I said, it just feels that with Kylian Mbappe probably going to Real Madrid on a free transfer, I think that's inevitable. I've always felt that PSG were going to come knocking on the door of Manchester United for Marcus Rashford. Remember that his brother, I believe, spoke with PSG just in the summer before he signed his new contract. I think they were just... It wasn't like that he was getting tapped up or anything, but he was just, I suppose, exploring options. Marcus. I think you just can't condone it. Not the night before a training session that you then say you're too ill to attend. Eric Ten Hag has always been trying to instill a new discipline inside a squad which just doesn't have it. And this is another challenge to that authority. What do you think is the right thing for Eric Ten Hag to do? Marcus, mate, I can't believe he's done that.